Welcome along again to Shootout on DAZN, where we tackle the biggest soccer debates. With me, as always, live from Toronto, the one, the only Greg Brady. Good to see you again, my friend. We now know it is Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern in the Champions League final. What a mouth-watering prospect.
Kind of a great final, yeah. First Champions League of a very unique variety, single-leg knockouts in the quarterfinals and semifinals. Steve, we've seen a lot of offensive spurts, especially from Bayern Munich, but it's two historic clubs. It's a club in PSG that hasn't had a ton of Champions League success in their lifetime. So it's going to be a great, great final with lots of star power. We're pretty excited to have it here on DAZN.
We cannot wait. So our first question, with the Champions League final in mind, is Alphonso Davies now currently the best super wonder kid in the world?
Well, look, we're in a really good era right now of players under 22, and part of the fun of this topic for you and me, Steve, might be defining what a wonder kid is. Do you show your ID? Is it like getting into a bar? Are you a wonder kid if you can't get into a bar in, say, the United States and under 21? But I like where Alphonso Davies is at, and yeah, there's some recency bias here, right? We're a little prisoner of the moment with his last two matches. Look, I think Davies has room to grow, whereas a lot of wonder kids at 2021, they're just hoping they can maintain how amazing they are. But we're already there. Maybe on the best team on the planet, maybe the most important player on his team, even with older established players, Lewandowski, Muller. But I look and I think we're going to see better from Alphonso Davies in years to come. And that's quite frightening. So, yeah, for me, it's the Canadian.
You talk about 21. For the process of this debate, we've made that the passport into it. And I had 21 anyway because of Kylian Mbappe, already a World Cup winner. Now he has the opportunity, like Alphonso Davies, to get his hands with his club on the biggest prize of all. Still think Davies has a little bit to go to the likes of Mbappe, who actually I think isn't that far behind the likes of Messi and Ronaldo at the moment, Greg.
But I'd also use something you said, maybe against you, only in that a 21-year-old, like I said, is hoping he's as good at 22, 23. There isn't always, but there's often a 21-year-old phenom. There's 3 or 4 players who dominate for their team, score the majority of their goals, the toast of the world in terms of being dangerous. We can't wait to see them in Champions League play. We can't wait to see them at World Cups, Euros. So I look at Davies and I think, there's something that is building. He's making life so much easier for the veterans around him. Lewandowski probably wins the Ballon d'Or this year. You're right. He's been phenomenal. But think of the ease that he's been able to go about his business. Muller's been able to go about his business. The keepers have been able to go about their business because Alphonso Davies made that transition from midfield to left back, and it's been seamless. Now, that's not fair to Mbappe. You're not asking Mbappe to play defensively or to play left back. But the fact that Davies did it, we may see him attack again someday, maybe even for Canada internationally, where that was always the plan, that he was going to be, an attacking midfielder, almost a general that could control the midfield pace, but also could contribute offensively. So, on any given evening, that's the thing about Mbappe. You might say for 90 minutes, I might rather have Lewandowski this Sunday. I don't think there's a back on PSG's team that you'd rather have instead of Alphonso Davies. So for me, it's Davies by a bit.
That's the whole different debate, Lewandowski or Mbappe. But let's just remember that cup final you talked about, he thought his Champions League campaign was over. And the importance of Kylian Mbappe to Paris Saint-Germain. They've still got Neymar. They've still got Di Maria, and a host of stars. They've still got Icardi, of course, but they wanted Mbappe back. Actually, consistently, he could be more important than Neymar to that team. And let's remind you, he's won the World Cup, he's won serial titles, and now he's got the opportunity, I think, if he wins the Champions League, to really put himself on a pedestal with Messi and Ronaldo. And the point you rightly make of to go again. He's done it domestically, he's done it with France. Can he do it again in the Champions League? But one hurdle at a time. If he comes out on top on Sunday, I don't see anyone as a wonder kid in the world quite like Kylian Mbappe. And Greg, I've been getting a bit of input into my argument for this one from a man who played in the fullback position and indeed won the Champions League, the former Manchester United, Everton and England defender, Phil Neville.
I think when you see Mbappe at Paris Saint-Germain, I think he's probably the standout, probably because of the trophies he's won, and his performances consistently over the last couple of seasons have been phenomenal. But I think what you see with Alphonso Davies is you see someone that's going to get to that level eventually. He just probably needs another 12 months playing at this level winning trophies with Bayern Munich and producing the performances that he has done in the last 12 months for Bayern Munich. He's been phenomenal. I still think he's got a little bit to go, though, to get to Mbappe's level.
The only thing I'd say, I know you've accused me of having some French blood. I've got to see if Kylian Mbappe has some Canadian blood, because we can kind of use Davies and Kylian Mbappe if we're going to qualify for 2022. I'm really concerned about that in CONCACAF, but that's a whole nother conversation.
It is. Just like it is who's got the better brickwork tonight. But then we'll leave it there. The one thing is, we cannot wait to see that matchup. Davies and Mbappe in the Champions League final. Next up on Shootout, big question. Where next for Lionel Messi? Greg?
I think it's the City of Light. No, not Los Angeles. I don't think.
Not this France and Paris thing again, for goodness sake.
I was trying to make this call 3 weeks ago. I'm trying to make the French league that much more interesting.
You're signing everyone.
I don't want PSG just winning that league, Steve, by 20 points. I want them winning by 40 points, apparently. But I think it's a great fit. I think there's a lot there in terms of infrastructure. If he's got Champions League ambitions, if his teammates have Champions League ambitions, then I think it's a perfect fit. You tell me a counterpoint to that, and I'll go back and share the love for PSG some more as we continue here.
Well, nothing against your favorite team in Europe, Paris Saint-Germain, but obviously this season, slightly as they sit there, almost European champions, has changed that argument. But domestically, you joke about the 20 points, but let's be perfectly clear. No one's near them. They aren't even a challenge, and someone of Lionel Messi's standard needs that challenge. He needs to have that actual, real demand on his influence in a team. And let's be honest, there isn't that in France. And I think because of that, the Premier League is where he should go. It's always labelled against him, and you and I on previous Shootout episodes have had this debate on Messi and Ronaldo. And when you pushed me, I went Ronaldo. And my reason was he'd done it in 3 different leagues. And that's not dismissing what Lionel Messi has done at Barcelona, of course. The CV says everything. But if he went to the Premier League and was successful, and I'm thinking, obviously, reunited with Pep Guardiola, because he's the manager who knows who makes him tick. He has a club in Manchester City that can afford both a price tag, but more importantly, his wages. Manchester City would get that back in revenue anyway. And the big burning question amongst soccer fans, could Lionel Messi do it in England? Could he do it on a rainy Wednesday night at the Etihad in Manchester? Would be answered. We'd find out. He'd still be playing with terrific players. Manchester City have signed some. They're going to sign some more. But can you imagine if the Premier League could have Lionel Messi, even at 33, and his influence, and Pep Guardiola is the one man, he might just take that offer up. And more importantly, that challenge, Greg, that he isn't going to get in your favorite city, the capital of France.
Well, there's a lot there. And listen, Man City's got a ton to offer. And I will say this, Messi could really be a power broker in the music world. If he says, I'll come to Man City if the Gallagher brothers reunite and we get Oasis back together.
I'll take that as well.
Right, yeah. It's been 11 years. It's the only thing that's going to make it happen, Steve. Money's apparently no object to Noel and Liam. So it's got to be Messi playing in the sky blue of Man City and playing at Old Trafford in a Manchester derby. But even if we can't reunite Oasis over it, Paris Saint-Germain is a fit. Paris Saint-Germain's a fit because they're already spending a ton of money. But what are they going into this for? Is this just a one-off? They're going to have older players. We know that at a certain point in time. Thiago Silva probably headed into retirement at some point over the next couple of years. He's had a great run, but he'll be 36 in the middle of next season. Only 2 clubs, and we know them well. Our viewers know them well. Barcelona and Real Madrid spent more on their player wage bill in 2019-20 than Paris Saint-Germain. So they're already pretty invested. Why go in halfway? Now again, Real Madrid spent a lot more than PSG for obvious reasons, but PSG spent £3 million more than Man United, $6 million more than Man City. You look at the top 20 clubs, there's 8 English clubs. And I bring that up because Messi would love to go to Man City, but we've documented it before on Shootout. Spending the money for Pep in this case got him to the semifinal, didn't even get him to the final day at a certain point in time. So there's no guarantees. You've talked about the emotion about leaving Barcelona, and it would be an emotional decision. Tears would be shed all around, no question. But you better be sure about this if you're Messi, and you've got to go to somewhere where you're going to have domestic triumphs, you're going to have domestic cup triumphs. I know PSG's winning everything right now, but football can be cyclical. So do you want trophies or not? Do you want to be dominant or not? Plenty of players, and you could name them, I could name them, have gone in the last 20 years, made a big splash. They've gone to Man United. They've signed with Chelsea. They've left a club they've been with 10, 12 years, and sometimes it doesn't work out. They expected trophies and gold and championships, and they didn't get it. If that window's not right for a Chelsea signing, it didn't click. So there's been no European success. This is a wonderful opportunity for him to pair with his buddy Neymar, as you pointed out, very close players, and get PSG somewhere they haven't been in a quarter century. That adds to a tremendous resume if Lionel Messi can accomplish that.
Neymar's had his frustrations at Paris Saint-Germain for exactly the same thing. And let's be honest, he's won 26 major honours. He's won 10 league titles in Spain. He's won 4 Champions Leagues with Barcelona. It isn't about domestic titles for Lionel Messi now. It's getting the best out of him, making him be the catalyst for something. You mentioned quite rightly, City, semi-finals again. Wow, Messi could be the difference in actually delivering the Holy Grail to Manchester City. But here's someone with a very interesting view. Former England, Manchester United and Everton defender, Phil Neville.
Well, it's a difficult question. I mean, from an English person's point of view, obviously playing in the Premier League, you think the dream would be for him to go to Manchester City, reunite with his former manager, Pep Guardiola. But there's just something about that I just don't think culturally that he will go for. Living in England, playing in English football, the weather, etc., is not probably what he would get in Spain. I think Italy, maybe Inter Milan or Paris, that kind of culture, or even going back to South America or even to the MLS, to somewhere like Miami, where at the age of 33 he can keep the lifestyle that he's got in Spain, keep the type of football, that Latino football that he would obviously get in Spain. But I don't see him coming to England. I'm not so sure the football would suit him, even though it would be a dream for everybody in the Premier League.
So he's thrown another spanner in the works there, Greg. Phil Neville thinks even MLS, even into Miami.
Listen, I've mentioned it before. I'd love to walk down to BMO Field in Toronto and see Messi playing in an MLS shirt. You know, we've had our opportunities with a few players. We've seen Beckham with the LA Galaxy. We've seen Thierry Henry come over and play as a New York player. So, look, there'd be no bigger thrill for me and tons of fans. Might be the only time the home team doesn't get fully supported down in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver with the Whitecaps. So there is that opportunity there. But nonetheless, I look and I say there's such an opportunity for Champions League success. Remember also, Barcelona falls short this year. They've been to one final, and they won it 5 years ago, but they've been to one final since Pep Guardiola left. That's a 9-year span now, Steve. So are they drifting away further from Champions League success, and is PSG getting closer? All things Messi's got away in the next 12 months when his contract runs out.
Or could he be reunited with Pep and get to another Champions League final with a Premier League club in Manchester City? Fascinating debate. We will find out the future of Lionel Messi, of course, very soon. Next up on Shootout, we are going to discuss the mouth-watering Champions League final. Paris Saint-Germain, champions of France, never been to the final before, of course, against 5 times winners of the competition who were there for the first time since 2013 in Bayern Munich. Now, anyone who's been watching Shootout recently will know there's some sort of French connection with Greg Brady. We're trying to get to the bottom of it, ancestry, maybe even an agency or shareholder in Paris Saint-Germain. So I don't really need to ask this question, do I, Greg? Who's going to win the Champions League on Sunday?
I just have to think there's something special about this group. You know what, the negatives that were there when we restarted, and their league didn't restart. The Bundesliga did, the Premier League did, Serie A did, but France was still shut down. So everyone said PSG didn't have too many challenges coming into the shutdown around January, February, March. They didn't have any way to warm up except by playing with themselves. There was nothing they could tune up for, like all these other clubs have had. But there's something there about this group. And I'm not going to tell you they're favorites. They're probably notable underdogs in this particular final. But I also think they're a pretty fresh squad. I also think Bayern Munich, probably 2 emotional wins. That 8-2 win over Barcelona was incredibly emotional. The win you called with Phil in the semifinals, obviously, just to get there, to get to that kind of glory for Bayern Munich when there's been some stumbles before in the last couple seasons. but PSG is going to find a way somehow. It will be an upset, but we're not playing a 4-7 series like a North American sports league. I wouldn't take PSG if that was the case. Something special might happen, and PSG grabs the trophy.
I'm going to take PSG at all because, as you say, I called the semi-final. I watched the 8 goals against Barcelona, which was emotional, but they showed a different side in the semi-final. They showed, particularly after a first opening 20 minutes where they were a little bit naive, they then got their game heads on. And they showed a good game management, clean sheet. They're still the only team in the Champions League this season yet to lose. And that is some statistic for Paris Saint-Germain to come across. They have quality, yes, but they have experience. They have know-how. They have big game players right the way through the team. Of course, Manuel Neuer has been there and done it, won the Champions League. David Alaba as well, Thiago, and the machine that is Robert Lewandowski with 55 goals, supported by Muller, etc. And then, of course, Alphonso Davies. What a season he is having in the Champions League. He's caught the eye. I just think the all-round balance and the winning mentality in a one-off game on the biggest stage, that German mentality as well that is inbred in them. They deal with expectation. Paris Saint-Germain haven't been there before. They have all the millions of dollars spent. They were expected to have been in many finals. This is the first. They have to deliver. And I think because of all that, Greg, Bayern will take it in their stride. It won't be straightforward. I'm not predicting a 2-3-0 like the semi-final. I think it will be fascinating. And I think both teams have defensive deficiencies as well, which will make it an exciting watch on DAZN. But I think Bayern's know-how and experience will win the day.
But I look at PSG and I think they are tight defensively. They certainly have built up a lot in terms of winning. And I would say this, for all that we hyped up Messi versus Davies in the semifinals, Neymar is going to have to be better. He's going to have to play better in the final than Messi did in the quarterfinal, going up against Alphonso Davies in that Bayern Munich back end. Really important to stay in the match. I would say if this was in Germany, you want to stay in early. Take the crowd out of it a little bit. Make the home fans sweat. And those aren't circumstances here. So I'm sure if PSG get to halftime and they're right in that match and they haven't let it get away early, they're going to start to build confidence. Bayern knows they're the heavy favorite, and they're going to start to sweat. All the pressure, Steve's on Bayern Munich. A little less, despite the wage bill, a little less on PSG.
Well, one thing's for sure, Greg, I'm hoping my prediction of Bayern winning comes true because I've been reminded in a previous shootout episode that if Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League, I promised to take you up the Eiffel Tower. And let me tell you, you will get me nowhere near the top. Either way, we're in for a great final. Don't forget, Alan Shearer, the Premier League's record all-time goal scorer, joins me for the call. Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich in Lisbon on DAZN.